Howdy, partners. Have you ever dreamed of striking it rich? Well, Grandpop did, so did his father, his brother, and his mother's parents. It's true they were all gold miners in the wilds of the Siskiyou National Forest in Oregon for a long while, but that's not where this story starts. Though part of the story did play out in the wilds of Oregon. For centuries, folks have been chasing the dream of riches, fueled by the glitter of gold. Gold! The very word conjures up images of lost mines, dusty prospectors, and rivers running rich with nuggets. It's a metal that has captivated humans for millennia, its allure is timeless as the hills themselves. Why? Well, gold is shiny, rare, and doesn't rust or tarnish. That makes it perfect for jewelry and coins. Plus, it's malleable, meaning you can shape it into almost anything. No wonder it's been a symbol of wealth and power for as long as we've been digging in the dirt. But where does this golden tale begin? Let's journey back in time to the heart of North America, where the gold rush fever first ignited, forever changing the landscape and the lives of those who dared to dream big. Imagine a time before smartphones, cars, or even electricity. A time when the vast wilderness of North America held untold secrets and whispered promises of unimaginable riches. That's where our story begins, folks, with a whisper that soon turned into a roar. Gold. Word spread like wildfire through mining camps, towns, and cities. From the rolling hills of California to the frozen tundra of the Yukon, a fever gripped the nation, gold rush fever. Thousands upon thousands of people, driven by hope and a thirst for adventure, packed up their lives and headed west, their eyes on the prize, a chance to strike it rich. We're talking shopkeepers, farmers, teachers, even lawyers, all bitten by the gold bug. They left behind their families, their homes, and their old lives for a shot at fortune and glory in the untamed wilds of the American frontier. And what stories they have to tell. Tales of hardship and triumph, of backbreaking labor and unimaginable wealth. So, saddle up, partners, and get ready for a wild ride as we delve into the thrilling and often dangerous world of North American gold mining. Long before the 49ers stampeded towards California, gold was already a hot commodity in North America. Turns out, Native Americans, the folks who really knew this land, had been using gold for centuries. Not for money, mind you, but for decoration and religious ceremonies. They understood its beauty and power long before any European set foot on these shores. Imagine that. Gold nuggets plucked straight from riverbeds, hammered into intricate designs, adorning tribal leaders and shamans. These folks weren't digging deep mines or blasting mountains apart. They respected the land and took only what they needed, living in harmony with nature. The first Europeans to arrive weren't exactly known for their gentle touch. They were after one thing, riches. Gold represented power back in the old world, and these explorers, conquistadors, and adventurers, they craved it. They figured the new world was overflowing with the stuff. Early expeditions weren't always successful. Sure, they found some gold, but not the mountains of it they'd envisioned. Disappointment fueled their greed, pushing them further into unexplored territories, searching for those legendary cities of gold whispered about in taverns and royal courts. Now hold on to your hats, folks, because our story's about to take a wild turn south of the border. We're talking about the first real North American gold rush. It all went down in what we now call North Carolina, way back in 1799. A young fella named Conrad Reed stumbled upon a shiny rock while fishing in a creek. Turns out it wasn't just any rock, it was a 17-pound gold nugget. Can you imagine the look on young Conrad's face? Talk about beginner's luck. That single nugget sparked a frenzy. Word got out and folks from all over started combing the creeks and hills of North Carolina. Farmers dropped their plows, blacksmiths abandoned their forges, even preachers hung up their Bibles. Everyone was suddenly a prospector. This wasn't the massive, chaotic gold rush we'll talk about later, but it was a taste of things to come. People realized there was gold to be found in these parts. This little gold rush lasted a good while too, with folks panning, digging, and dreaming of striking it rich. It paved the way for the bigger gold rushes that would soon grip the nation. The discovery in North Carolina was just the tip of the iceberg. See, as more and more folks ventured westward, driven by that gold fever, they kept stumbling upon the shiny stuff. It was like the land itself was whispering, "Come on, find me." Down in Georgia, they found gold in the hills, sparking another mini-rush. Then it was Colorado's turn, with prospectors flocking to the Rockies like moths to a flame. Each new discovery added fuel to the fire, making folks believe that untold riches were just waiting to be unearthed. And it wasn't just the contiguous United States. Oh no, the gold fever spread north, way north, all the way to the Yukon Territory. That's where the Klondike Gold Rush took place in 1896, a story so epic, so full of adventure and hardship, it deserves its own chapter in the grand saga of North American gold. No tale of North American gold mining is complete without the granddaddy of them all, the California Gold Rush. Picture this, 1848, a sleepy California outpost, until James Marshall spotted something shiny at Sutter's Mill. Yep, gold. Word spread fast, and folks abandoned everything to chase the golden dream. From all corners of the globe they came, all bitten by the gold bug, braving treacherous journeys, all for a chance to strike it rich. A wild stampede to the gold fields, fueled by hope, a mass migration, a turning point in American history. California transformed into a bustling hub of activity. "1849. That's when the real chaos began. Nearly 100,000 folks, mostly young men, descended upon California, earning themselves the nickname 49ers. Imagine the scene: tent cities sprawling across the landscape, saloons overflowing with prospectors, and the constant clang of pickaxes echoing through the valleys. It was a time of incredible hardship and incredible opportunity. Life in the gold fields was tough, fraught with danger, disease, and backbreaking labor. But for those lucky few who struck gold, it was a chance to make a fortune beyond their wildest dreams. Stories of overnight riches spread like wildfire, fueling the gold fever even further. Boom towns sprang up practically overnight. Places like San Francisco, Sacramento, and Nevada City transformed from sleepy villages into bustling centers of commerce. Saloons, gambling dens, and supply stores lined the muddy streets, catering to the needs and desires of the fortune seekers. Of course, with all that gold and excitement came lawlessness. Outlaws, gamblers, and shady entrepreneurs were drawn to the boom towns like flies to honey. It was a time of vigilante justice, saloon brawls, and shootouts at high noon. The Wild West, folks, in all its gritty glory. The California Gold Rush might have been the biggest, but it wasn't the only show in town. In 1859, whispers of gold in the Colorado Rockies turned into a roar. Pikes Peak or bust became the rallying cry, as thousands set their sights on the Colorado mountains. They came from all walks of life, lured by the promise of gold. Wagon trains snaked across the Great Plains, loaded with supplies and dreams. Denver, Central City, and Black Hawk became bustling hubs of activity. The Colorado Gold Rush played a huge role in shaping the American West. Now let's head north, way north, to the frozen wilds of the Yukon Territory. The Klondike Gold Rush captured the imagination of the world. In 1896, the Yukon was remote and unforgiving. Gold was discovered in a tributary of the Klondike River. Thousands braved treacherous conditions to reach the goldfields. They came from all over the world, lured by the promise of striking it rich. This wasn't your average gold rush. The journey was a brutal test of endurance. Prospectors faced freezing temperatures and blinding snowstorms. They hauled supplies on their backs using sleds and boats. The Chilkoot Pass became a symbol of the Klondike Gold Rush. Prospectors called it the Golden Stairway. Many perished on the journey. Those who made it faced frozen ground and cutthroat competition. Life in the Klondike was a constant struggle against the elements. Now, you don't just stumble upon piles of gold nuggets lying around, though those early prospectors probably wished you did. Finding gold took grit, determination, and the right tools for the job. Early prospectors, they kept it simple. Think pickaxes, shovels, and those trusty gold pans. Imagine yourself knee-deep in an ice-cold river, swirling that pan, hoping to catch a glimpse of that telltale glint. It was back-breaking work, folks, sifting through tons of dirt and gravel, all for a few flakes of gold. But hey, those flakes added up, and for a prospector, every speck was a victory. As word of gold spread, folks got smarter, more efficient. They realized that gold wasn't always just lying around in riverbeds. It was often hidden deep inside the earth, locked in veins of quartz. That's when things got serious. Mining techniques evolved. Prospectors started digging shafts, tunnels, even entire underground cities in their pursuit of the precious metal. They formed partnerships, pooled their resources, and invested in heavier equipment. The simple act of digging for gold was becoming a full-blown industry. Remember how we talked about those rivers being key to finding gold? Well, those rivers weren't just a source of gold, they were a tool. Prospectors figured out a way to use the power of water to their advantage. And that's where things get really interesting. They called it hydraulic mining, and it was a game changer. Imagine aiming a fire hose, but instead of water, it's blasting away entire hillsides. These powerful jets of water, channeled through giant nozzles called monitors, could move mountains, literally. Of course, all that dirt and gravel had to go somewhere. That's where sluice boxes came in. These long wooden troughs, often lined with riffles and mercury, were designed to separate the heavy gold from the lighter materials. Here's how it worked. The water carrying the gold-bearing mud would flow through the sluice box. As the water rushed through, the heavier gold would settle to the bottom, getting caught by those cleverly placed riffles or binding to the mercury. Meanwhile, the lighter stuff just kept on flowing downstream. It was a simple but effective way to separate the gold from the muck. Now let's talk about some seriously heavy machinery gold dredges. These massive floating contraptions were like something out of a Jules Verne novel, and they revolutionized gold mining, especially in those gold-rich rivers. Picture this, a giant steel hull, longer than a football field, floating in the middle of a river. It's got these huge rotating buckets that scoop up gravel from the riverbed. That gravel gets hauled up, dumped onto a conveyor belt, and then shaken, sifted, and sorted until every last speck of gold is extracted. These dredges were engineering marvels, capable of moving thousands of tons of material every day. They could reach depths that would make a traditional miner break a sweat just thinking about it. And they weren't just for rivers. Smaller dredges were used in ponds, lakes, and even flooded former mining areas. The invention of the gold dredge marked a turning point in the industry. It allowed for large-scale gold extraction, turning what was once a pick-and-shovel operation into a mechanized industrial process. It also had a significant environmental impact, but we'll get to that later. Gold gleamed with promise, but the journey was paved with danger. The hard rock tunnel mines were dark, damp, and treacherous. Cave-ins were a constant threat, and then there was the dust. Explosions were another risk. Mercury exposure caused tremors and memory loss. Miners were tough, driven by dreams, but many paid the ultimate price. The high cost of gold. The gold rush reshaped the American West. Boom towns sprung up overnight, but this rapid growth came at a cost. The environment took a beating. Hydraulic mining ripped apart hillsides. Native American communities suffered immensely. The gold rush left behind ghost towns. Was the price of gold worth paying? Section 3. Ghosts of the Gold Rush, a legacy remembered. The gold rush might be a distant memory, but its legacy lives on. From the ghost towns that dot the landscape to the stories passed down through generations, the spirit of the gold rush continues to captivate and inspire. Today we visit these ghost towns, marveling at the remnants of a bygone era. We pan for gold in those same rivers, hoping to catch a glimmer of that golden dream. We listen to the tales of hardship, resilience, and the enduring allure of striking it rich. The gold rush taught us about the power of dreams, the allure of adventure, and the resilience of the human spirit. It also taught us about the importance of protecting our environment, respecting indigenous cultures, and understanding the true cost of progress. The gold rush might be over, but its lessons are timeless. It reminds us that while the pursuit of wealth can be a powerful motivator, it's essential to balance our ambitions with a deep respect for our planet and each other. Section 1. From nuggets to nanotech, gold's shiny future. Now, you might think gold rush fever died down back in the day, but hold on. Gold's still a hot commodity, folks. It's more than just shiny jewelry and those bars locked away in Fort Knox. Gold's got its fingers in a whole lot of pies these days. Ever wonder what makes your phone tick, or how spaceships handle all that heat? Gold. Yep, this metal, once dug up by dusty prospectors, is now a high-tech superstar. It conducts electricity like a dream, resists corrosion like a champ, and even reflects infrared radiation. Think of electronics, satellites, solar panels. Gold's in there, working its magic. It even pops up in medicine. Gold nanoparticles are being used to diagnose diseases and deliver targeted treatments. Talk about a golden opportunity for a healthier future. And let's not forget about those gold bars. Yep, gold is still a safe haven for investors, a hedge against inflation, and a symbol of wealth worldwide. So, while you might not find many folks panning for gold in their backyard, it's still a valuable player in our global economy. Section 2, Golden Gate Bridge, a shining tribute. Speaking of gold's lasting impact, let's talk about a true icon, a symbol of California and the American spirit, the Golden Gate Bridge. It's not literally made of gold, but its story is intertwined with the gold rush in a fascinating way. Back in the gold rush days, San Francisco Bay was a bustling hub of activity. Ships loaded with gold and eager prospectors flooded the harbor. In 1937, the Golden Gate Bridge opened, a testament to human ingenuity and the spirit of the gold rush. It's named after the Golden Gate Strait, the entrance to San Francisco Bay. John C. Fremont named the strait, imagining a golden gateway to opportunity. The bridge reminds us of the gold rush, the dreams it ignited, and the legacy it left behind. Gold fever fades, but the spirit endures. We've journeyed from those first gold discoveries to the boom towns and back, seen how gold shaped North America. The gold rush might be over, but its stories, they're pure gold. We've learned about the tough-as-nails prospectors, those dreamers who risked it all. Their grit built towns, connected coasts, and fueled innovation. But through it all, the spirit of the gold rush shines through. It's a reminder that within us all lies a bit of that adventurous spirit. Wise Hooter Learning, no spaces, hopes that you enjoyed this video and maybe learned a little bit about gold mining. There is so much more to learn. Maybe someday you will get to visit a gold mine yourself. Grandpop, tester, and evaluator, hope that you have some adventure during your life and keep learning every single day. Remember, the biggest adventure in life is learning all you can.